The Planning Commission meeting. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Do you want maybe the roll call?
Mr. Akra.
Here.
Mr. Graff. Mayor Grubbs.
Yeah, or here.
Ms. Knock.
Here.
Mr. McMurdo.
Here.
Motion to excuse Mr. Graff.
I'll second.
Second. Ms. Knock.
Yay.
Mr. McMurdo.
Yay.
Mr. Akra.
Yay.
Mayor Grubbs.
Yeah.
Next on the agenda, we have to approve the minutes from the February 11th.
Motion to approve. I'll second.
Mr. McMurdo.
Yay.
Mr. Akra.
Yay.
Mayor Grubbs.
Yeah.
Ms. Knock.
Yay. We have some visitors this evening. We have Terry, is it Meath? Okay. Mark Taylor, Rob Sieg, and Tyler Schmid. Everyone is tied to the new business, so we'll move on to the new business. The first, we have a zoning and use approval for the DRD at 614 Harrison Avenue for McGore Insurance. Joette, will you read the?
Yes, this
Central Lake.
application is coming before Planning Commission because the applicant is required to submit a zoning and use permit to open a business in the DRD, and such permits cannot be approved or issued until approved by Planning Commission. If this request is approved by Planning Commission, the applicant intends to move the existing McGore Insurance Associates that has been located at 223 Harrison Avenue for the past 24 years to the proposed new location. The new space will be used as an independent insurance agency. The applicant will have 4 employees on site Monday through Friday, 8:30 until 5 p.m., and limited hours on Saturday. The building is a 2-story home, and the applicant intends to use the entire approximate 1,700 square feet for the business. No outdoor lighting plan was proposed. The existing landscaping will remain on the property and is in keeping with the design standards of the DRD. On-street parking is available in the front of the building. The sign logo will remain the same, but no sign package was submitted with the application at this time. Our recommendation, or staff recommendation, this application has been reviewed by the Harrison Planning and Zoning staff and meets the Harrison zoning regulations per section 1143C5, which states sale of goods and products at retail, and 1143C10, which states banks and financial institutions. The application also meets the intention of the downtown strategic plan. The proposed location at 614 Harrison Avenue is currently surrounded by residential homes. Although the goal of the DRD is to add retail and entertainment business, it has not quite reached the 600 block of Harrison Avenue. The likelihood of a retail space or bar or restaurant occupying that space would be small. Opening up the previous location at 223 Harrison would be more viable for a retail or bar restaurant opportunity in our prime entertainment corridor. The use of an insurance agency in this proposed location would still promote foot traffic downtown with walk-in customer service. Planning Commission has approved businesses of this nature in the past in the 300 and 400 blocks of Harrison Avenue. This business was also approved to operate with the same parameters as this application at 500 Harrison Avenue in September of 2024. The real estate transaction did not move forward. If Planning Commission approves the application, the Building and Zoning Department would recommend the following conditions. All waste associated with the business shall be disposed of using residential style waste containers, and any dumpster that is used in the future will require review and approval by the Building and Zoning Department. Any future structural, interior, or exterior improvements will require a building permit presented to the Building and Zoning Department for review and approval. Any outside design changes, such as painting of the building or trim, will require a zoning permit filed with the Building and Zoning Department to ensure that they are in keeping with the historical nature of the DRD. Any future signage will be submitted to the Building and Zoning Department for review. and any future landscaping will be maintained in accordance with the Harrison zoning regulations. The applicant is here if you have any questions.
What are you thinking on signage? What are you thinking on signage?
It's something small, nothing big and great, because the yard's
Yeah. And that's primarily why I was asking. It is a smaller yard.
it would be something very small.
The deal at 500 just wasn't able to get worked out? Yeah. Yeah. Well, eventually, the businesses are just continuing to move that way as the district continues to fill in. And so the expectation was for the businesses to gradually move up that way. So I don't have any other questions in regards to that.
I'll make a motion to accept with the recommended conditions.
I'll second that.
Mr. Akra?
Yay.
Mayor Grubbs?
Yeah.
Ms. Knock?
Yay.
Mr. McMurdo?
Yay.
Motion approved. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You're welcome.
Our next item on the agenda is a development permit approval, like presentation of a conceptual plan on West Road.
The reason for this application is the applicant has submitted a development permit to build a small bay industrial suites on vacant land. Applications for development of vacant land are reviewed by Planning Commission for recommendations to keep Planning Commission apprised of all new development and to ensure the development is following the intent of the comprehensive plan. The intended use is the applicant intends to build venture business center consisting of two approximately 12,000 square foot buildings to be leased as 1,500 to 12,000 square foot suites, including one office and one restroom, making each suite 80% warehouse and 20% office space. The proposed buildings would be slab on grade with 20-foot ceilings, pre-engineered steel, buildings fully insulated with a mix of glass storefronts, steel overhang canopies, masonry, bottom facade, and steel facade. Zoning. The purpose of the M1 restricted industrial district is to provide for industrial uses having a minimum impact upon the surrounding environment in areas which are suitable for restricted or light manufacturing operations. This M1 area was created by reason of location and the availability of adequate utility and transportation systems. The intended use of this M1 property for small light industrial buildings is ideal in this area. Future tenants in the proposed buildings will meet the permitted use requirements as outlined in section 114307A of the Harrison zoning regulations. Comprehensive plan. One of the goals in the city's comprehensive plan is to preserve the industrial corridor and available land which is zoned for industrial development. This proposed development does that by providing light industrial uses on the industrial zone properties on and around Dry Fork and West Road. This use of the property fosters job creation and is also a nice transition to the larger industrial properties in the area. A conceptual review of the development plan has been completed by Harrison Planning and Zoning staff. The development fits the Harrison zoning regulations and does not require any special approvals. The full development plan will be reviewed and approved by the city engineer, and all building and zoning plans will be reviewed and approved by Harrison Building and Zoning Department, including setbacks, parking, waste disposal, landscaping, lighting, and height requirements. Any future signage will be submitted to the Building and Zoning Department for review and approval according to the Harrison zoning regulations. And the applicants are here if you have any questions.
I guess one of mine would be like traffic. Looks like there's some, with it being a warehouse and trucks and stuff, vans. How much traffic do you think that that'll bring onto West Road?
We probably should have you go up to the podium, Rob, so that it can be on speaker. Yeah.
Questions unless I can. Excuse me, I'm Rob Sig with Sig Surveying, here representing Norbin Rottenschmidt for this proposed development. So M1 is, I believe, the zoning, and And basically what Norb and Rhonda explained is they're looking to do the light industrial, maybe potentially manufacturing, maybe some retail. So that should be all permitted. What type of business it's going to be is depends on the tenants that they can potentially have rent from them. And as Joette said, you know, the use would have to be permitted in the future. So the driveways coming in off of West Road are 30 feet wide. They should have ample turn radius to get in and out with larger vehicles, you know, box truck delivery, potentially semi delivery, and if that's a need or a call for the type of business is there. Most of the roads as we're presenting are wider than your normal width for lanes. Parking lots typically between double stack parking is 24 feet wide. Most of them coming in off of the road are wider than that, with the exception of the north and south drive. So there's plenty of room for larger vehicles to be able to maneuver through. And you know, as far as the traffic count, you know, that's something that we can't really answer to at this point, because you really don't know what's going to be there yet until they start marketing and presenting this to have people in for renting. So that would be my answer to your question there. As far as meeting setbacks, everything that we have, it should meet the setback according to the M1 zone. The lot coverage, we meet that requirement. We're not exceeding the 40%. And the parking, as you see presented on the plan, we're indicating 67 spaces based off of the parking requirements for that particular zoning or use. We did the math equation, and 67 is the exact number that's needed for the size of the square footage of the overall building. So let's say a person comes in and needs to rent a certain amount of space in there, and their business demands something less than that. You know, there could be less, but we elected to try to go with the maximum amount for the entire size of the building in order to provide ample parking. So I think that should kind of lead to traffic turns in and out off of West Road, but as far as the volume, I don't know that we can speak to that yet.
And only because you brought it up, I have a couple points, but only because you brought it up, retail is not going to be the primary component of any business that goes into this space, correct?
That would be something that I'd have to yield to the Schmids regarding that.
Okay.
Right.
If it's a second, like a plumber comes in and they supply fittings and stuff like that, it's one thing. I just don't want a piece of property such as this taken up with retail, with a primary retail component. Second, and this might come back to you, curb cuts they just drive me nuts. Only because there's so many curb cuts in this entire city. Is it required that you have 2 curb cuts?
That's something I haven't checked into, but we were trying to supply decent flow, and I understand the number of curb cuts and how close they are can be a safety factor, cause congestion or an opportunity for accidents. So West Road has plenty of sight distance, so I don't see it being an issue, but if it's something that we need to look at or it's a concern, we can maybe bring that down to less, if that's what your concern
You
is.
can look at it, that'd be wonderful.
Gordon,
Obviously it fits, it does. I mean, I'm not gonna say that it doesn't fit. You didn't have to come here and present it, but curb cuts give me the heebie-jeebies. And if you put a central wide curb cut, and obviously you can go down the center of the 2 buildings and then loop around and circle back out. It's just a thought. And I would appreciate you taking it at least into consideration.
I think that definitely can be done, so we'll look into that.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had. And everybody hears it on the curb cuts when they come.
I don't have anything.
you have no other questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you putting it all together and bringing it in front of us. And these buildings are hot right now, all over the tri-state. These, buildings that can be broken down into 1,500 square foot to 15,000 square foot, easily. And they're hot all over, so.
All right, moving on. At this time, we need to set a public hearing for a zone change for the quarry property on Madden Way. Joette?
Basically, we were looking at March 26th, which is a Wednesday, at 5:30.
Do we need to have a motion and a approval for
March
this?
26th? I will not be present.
Okay. When will you be present?
I'll be back the following week.
So April,
Do the second.
we can do the 2nd or Thursday the 3rd.
Yes.
Does anyone have a preference?
I'm okay with either one of those.
Yeah, I'm good with either one.
Let's see, okay.
We're still thinking
This is starting at 5?
5:30.
5:30?
5:30, just to give people a chance to get here. I'll have to, confirm that date, but you want to set it for Wednesday the 2nd then? Or Thursday the 3rd? Might give you a day in between council if you set it for the 3rd.
I'm fine.
Go with the Thursday.
Thursday?
Thursday?
There you go.
Thursday, April 3rd.
And yes, there needs to be a motion and a vote to accept that date.
Make a motion to set a public hearing for the zone change on the quarry property in Madden Way for April 3rd at 5:30 PM.
A second.
Ms. Knock?
Yay.
Mr. McMurdo?
Yay.
Mr. Akra?
Yay.
Mayor Grubbs?
Yay.
All right.
All right, that is all of our new business. We have no old business, so we will move to adjournment. May I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Did we vote on this?
You don't vote on it. It's
Oh,
just a
okay.
presentation. Ms. Knock?
Yay.
Mr. McMurdo?
Yay.
Mr. Akra?
Yay.
Mayor Grubbs?
Yay.
Meeting adjourned.